On this sheet, we are going to do meet Matthew together. We are going to find out how much can Matthew afford for a house. First, he's going to apply the rule of three and then the 2836 rule to two potential home buyers, Matthew and Emily. You will do Emily on your own. Read the profiles and complete the table. Matthew is 26 years old and works as a nurse practitioner. He is married with one child and wants to buy a house so his family has more space. Matthew's total household income is $156,000. So using the rule of three states that you can afford $156,000 times 3. This is yearly income. Okay, so if we take 150, if you get your calculator out, calculate 156,000 times 3. That is going to give you $468,000. Again, this is not taking into account any debt. The next thing it says is follow the steps to use the 2836 rule. So these are the steps if you want to use the 38 or 26, the 2836 rule. You would apply these steps. Find his minimum housing budget, which is 28% of his monthly. Make sure you realize it's monthly. So monthly up here is 13,000. So we are going to take 13,000 times 28%. And that is going to give us $33,640. Find his maximum total monthly debt. So that can't be worth more than 36%. Well, we look up here, he has monthly payments worth $2,015 for student loans. Student loans are $190,000. So then the next thing we're going to do is find his maximum total monthly debt. So 6% of his monthly income. His monthly income again is $13,000. We're going to multiply that by 36%. And that is going to give us $4,680. Okay. Then we need to subtract his existing monthly debts from his maximum total debts. So we have this, the most he can have is $4,680. And we're going to subtract out $2,015. And that is going to give us $2,665. Okay, so this question says choose the lowest value. I want the lowest value between this number and this number. So the most he can afford because he has so much debt is going to be $2,665. Okay, he can't afford the 28% because he has so much debt. This is the maximum amount, including debt, that he can have. So that is going to be your answer. Now you're going to do Emily on your own. Make sure you don't forget to answer number 5. On the back side, we are going to use an online calculator. This says use an online calculator. An online calculator makes it easier to calculate more personalized housing budget. Online calculators often use the 2836 rule as a baseline. However, they can factor in more variables that might impact your budget, like the loan interest rate, down payment, or HOA fees. We can calculate for 30 years. We will calculate for 30 years. So we're going to visit this online website, which you will find in the Google Classroom. So inside Google Classroom, you should find the budget, the fanniemae.com. I'm going to accept all, and I'm going to scroll down here. A couple things before we start putting this in. I want you to realize we're going to calculate affordability by, we have two options. We're going to initially leave it on income, but when you get to Emily, I do say that you do calculate affordability by payment. Okay, so make sure that you do realize that it could be one or the other. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, it says using the calculator, what house price could Matthew afford? This is number 6. So we are looking up at the top. We look up here at the top, it says he has an income of $156,000, his student loans, he has down payment saved, and his interest rate is 6%. And he plans on going for 30 years. So we need to put all that information in. So his annual gross income. I must have something on. Ooh, I do. So his monthly net income is $156,000. His monthly debt is $215,000. And his down payment that he has is only $10,000. Okay. So he is going to go for 30 years. And his interest rate, it says on this paper, is 6%. So you do need to make sure that you go down through everything. If it's specified, taxes and insurance, like Emily's might specify taxes and insurance, you would have to open up this information, okay? And you might have to put in, but we're going to leave it alone for now for her, okay? If it says something about an HOA fee, okay, then you might definitely want to open that up. Assumptions are debt to income ratio, and notice that they are set 36-28. So that by default is going to be that 28-36 rule. So if we go up here, it says how you can afford a home worth up to $333,340. So if we go in here on our sheet, it says using the calculator, what house price can Matthew afford? That's what we're going to put. So number 6 is going to be $333,340. What would his monthly payment be? We go here. His monthly payment would be $2,665. Where did we see this number at? We seen it over here. Okay, so we did see it over here on the front. So this by hand, we can calculate it, or we can use an online calculator. Matthew's monthly housing payment includes his mortgage payment labeled principal and interest, as well as other expenses. Approximately what percentage of his monthly payment goes to expenses other than mortgage payment? So if we go back here, we have this lovely pie chart here. So we have principal and interest is 73%. So the remaining, which would be 14 plus 3 plus 10, is going to be, that if you add those together, that is going to be 27%. So we're going to put 27%. What are those other expenses? Those other expenses are going to be private mortgage insurance, the PMI, because he didn't put 20% down, homeowner's insurance, and then property taxes. So that's what you will write for number 9. And then the last question says, recalculate Matthew's housing budget if he decides to take 2 years to save and pay off one loan. If he has $30,000 for a down payment and his debts decrease to $1,900, what would that be? So we're going to open this up, and we are going to change his debt to $1,900, and we are going to change his down payment to $30,000. Now, if I click off, you have to click off somewhere. It is going to up his monthly payment, or he's going to be able to afford more per month, $2,780, but he's also going to obviously be able to afford more house. So that is going to be $380,196. So that is your answer to number 10. And then you're going to do Emily, and make sure you read number 15 and reflect on that as well.